Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we have an incredibly exciting goal. We are demystifying hyper-realistic AI video creation, and, just as importantly, we're navigating the strict legal realities that come with it. We are way past the days of glitchy experimental AI clips. Today, we're talking about generating Ultra HD, 8K visuals with cinematic lighting and realistic physics. But as the tech gets better and better, well, the legal questions get infinitely more complicated.
So here is our masterclass agenda for today. First, the AI video revolution. Second, mastering character consistency. Third, the cinematic prompt formula. Fourth, upscaling and final polish. And finally, number five, the copyright reality check.
All right, Section 1, the AI video revolution. AI video has rapidly evolved from this overhyped experiment into a highly reliable, high-quality production tool. It's no longer a question of if AI can make a video, but rather which model you should use to get professional, publish-ready footage. Picking the right model depends entirely on what you're actually trying to produce. If you need speed, high-volume social content, and multi-shot consistency, Kling is an absolute powerhouse. Now, if you're going for absolute premium narrative visuals, I'm talking highly detailed buildings, realistic environments, and that gorgeous volumetric lighting, Sora is just incredible at preserving photorealism and deep depth of field. Veo, on the other hand, excels at cinematic B-roll. If you need a flawless, smooth tracking shot or a slow zoom in 4K without the motion getting all jittery, Veo is your go-to. And finally, Runway remains the top choice for visual effects and rapid creative iteration, giving you immense stylized freedom. Moving right along to Section 2, Mastering Character Consistency. And this brilliantly illustrates the absolute biggest pain point for AI filmmakers right now. How do you keep a character's facial expressions, their detailed skin textures, and the realistic fabric of their clothes exactly the same across multiple different camera angles? Well, the mistake most beginners make is relying purely on text to video. When you just type out text, the AI literally has to guess the lighting, the facial features, and the environment from scratch every single time you hit generate. So you might get a great close up once, but in the next shot, your character looks like a totally different person. The professional secret here is image to video. By providing a reference image as the first frame, you lock in those highly realistic skin textures, the fabric details, and the lighting before the camera even rolls. Now, for those doing talking head content or educational explainers, platforms like Hagen, specifically their Avatar 5 model, take this a whole step further. They can capture genuine human emotion from just a single 15-second source clip. Basically, it builds a precise digital twin engine. What this means for you is that subtle micro-expressions, like a determined look or a surprised smile, they carry over completely naturally. It effectively eliminates that dreaded, stiff corporate robot look. It even maintains precise lip syncing and emotional tone across over 175 languages. It's a total game changer for scaling your presence while keeping your authentic identity locked in. Section 3, the cinematic prompt formula. So, now that you have your model and your character locked in, let's step into the director's chair. We need to look at exactly how to talk to these machines to get those Ultra HD results. Generating great video isn't about typing out a random paragraph. It's about acting like a filmmaker. According to experts studying the Higgsfield platform, there are 5 cinematic principles you absolutely must command in your prompts. Lighting is crucial. Specifying golden hour, soft light, or cinematic shadows gives a real 3D feel to your image. Depth is next. You generally want a sharp subject but a blurred background, bokeh, to create realism. Composition dictates whether you're using a wide shot, an aerial view, or eye level. Emotion is the secret sauce here. Is the subject smiling, emotional, tense? And finally, color. Dictating vibrant warm tones or moody cool tones completely shifts the viewer's psychological response. To put those principles into action, DeepReel provides a highly effective step-by-step formula. First, you start with the subject. Be highly specific about age, clothing, and textures. Next is the style. Are we talking realistic, documentary, or hyper-detailed? Then you explicitly state the camera movement. Do you want a slow push-in, a dolly shot, or maybe a smooth tracking shot? Fourth is mood, which heavily influences the lighting and pacing. And finally, duration, telling the AI exactly how long this action needs to be sustained. Think of this formula as a blueprint. It stops the AI from making wild guesses. Let's actually look at this in practice. On the left, we have a vague prompt, a nice video of a person working. The AI has absolutely no direction here. The result is going to be flat and generic for sure. But look at this cinematic prompt on the right. Software developer at desk, golden hour lighting, slow push-in zoom, blurred background bokeh, wind-blowing hair, 4K resolution. Do you see the difference there? We are explicitly demanding realistic lighting, specific camera movement, depth of field, and even natural motion details like wind blowing through realistic hair. This level of granular direction is exactly what guarantees a high-end output. Section 4. Upscaling and Final Polish. Let's be totally honest here. Even with the absolute perfect cinematic prompt, raw AI video outputs aren't always flawless. Sometimes you get a little motion blur, or the resolution just isn't quite crisp enough for a large screen. And this is exactly where post-production software like Topaz Video AI comes into play. If your generation lacks that final Ultra HD punch, an upscaler acts as a professional polish. It can take a lower resolution output and enhance it to true 4K or even 8K. What's really incredible is how it analyzes the footage to reduce motion blur and actually restore highly realistic details. Things like the texture of hair, the reflection in an eye, or the fine grain of fabric and metal. It locks in that final professional quality that makes the viewer completely forget they're watching something AI generated. And finally, Section 5, the copyright reality check. So imagine this. You've used the best models, locked in your character, crafted the perfect cinematic prompt, and upscaled it to a flawless 8K masterpiece. You are ready to share it with the world. But before you do, we need to take a very sobering, impartial look at the complex legal landscape. It brings up a multi-billion-dollar question that governments and courts are wrestling with right at this very moment. You prompted the perfect 8K video with flawless lighting, but who actually owns it? Is it you, the prompter, the company that built the AI, or does it belong to absolutely no one? Despite the visual perfection of your output, the law views AI art quite differently than human art. So the crucial point to understand is this fundamental definition. At its core, copyright is the exclusive legal right granted to a creator, and it requires three specific things: an original work, in a fixed changeable form, and, this is the absolute linchpin here, it must be created by a human author. The foundational principle across global legal systems is that copyright protects human creativity. It does not protect autonomous machine output or just the mechanical process of generating something. To understand how courts apply this to AI, we can look at a brief timeline of key precedents. Back in 2011, a macaque monkey took a famous selfie. Courts ruled that animals cannot be authors. So, unfortunately for the monkey, no royalties. Copyright requires a human. Fast forward to 2025 and 2026 with Dr. Stephen Thaler's Creativity Machine. His AI autonomously generated an artwork, but the U.S. courts, all the way up to the Supreme Court denying the appeal, held firm. An AI cannot be an author. Then we have the Zarya of the Dawn graphic novel case. The Copyright Office ruled that while the human-written text and the page layout were protected, the individual images generated by AI within the book were not. The machine executed the visuals, so those specific visuals belonged to the public domain. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that number right there, 624. You might be sitting there thinking, but wait, I don't just push a button. I spend hours writing cinematic formulas and refining details. Well, in the legal case of Jason Allen, who created an award-winning piece using Midjourney, he used exactly 624 iterative prompts to achieve his final result. He adjusted, he refined, and he directed the AI extensively. Yet the Copyright Office still refused protection. Their reasoning was that despite all his effort, the AI was the entity ultimately executing the visual expression, not him. And that leaves us with a fascinating, totally unresolved frontier. AI video is allowing us to generate breathtaking, cinematic worlds with just a few keystrokes, completely democratizing high-end production. But the legal framework built for a pre-AI world is genuinely struggling to keep up. So if human creativity is required for ownership, where exactly is the line between merely providing a prompt and actively crafting a masterpiece? It's a huge question, and it's one that will define the future of art, business, and human expression. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep exploring these incredible tools, and I highly encourage you to stay curious as this landscape continues to